Hi, what is the value of x? Given that you have open bracket x squared minus x minus 1, close the bracket, to the power of x squared minus x equals 1. So what will be the solution? Now remember that when we have a to the power of b that equals 1, we must also notice that from the law of indices, a to the power of 0 will always give us 1. So from here, when we equate this, we make the comparison of this expression with this, we are going to realize that our a will be equals 1 and our b will be equals 0. Then let us now recall from here, when we make the comparison of this expression with this, so we are going to realize that our a equals x squared minus x minus 1 and everything equals 1. So let's say method 1. So we are going to have x squared minus x minus 1 to be equals 1 when we apply this expression. So from here, we are going to have x squared minus x minus 1. Taking this one to the, we have it to be minus 1. Then let's set everything to be equal 0. So from here, we have x squared minus x minus 1 minus 1. We have it to be minus 2. Then we have everything to be equal 0. Of course, this is a quadratic, and we can solve it using factorization method when we have here to be x squared minus 2x plus x. Minus 2x plus x will give us minus x. Again, we have minus 2. Then we have everything to be equal 0. Let's group this and this together. We are going to have x squared minus 2x as this. Likewise, we have plus, let's group this as x minus 2, close it. Then we set everything to be equal 0. What is common between this and this is x. So when we factor it out, we open bracket, x squared divided by x, we are going to have only x. Minus 2x divided by x, we only have minus 2, plus open bracket, x minus 2, we close it, we have everything to be equal 0. X minus 2 is common, so let us factor it out as x minus 2, all in bracket. The whole of this expression divided by this, we are going to left with x, plus the whole of this expression divided by this, we only have 1, we close it, we set everything to be equal 0. Then what are we trying to say here is that for this particular expression to be 0, is either we have x minus 2 equals 0, or we have x plus 1 equals 0. And so therefore from here, we are going to have x to be equals 2. Let's call it the first degree solution. Here as well, we have x to be equals minus 1 as the second degree solution. Now, that's for the first method. Also, let's say method 2. When we have from here, where we have our b to be equal 0, meaning that our b equivalent to x squared minus x. So let's see if we are going to have another solution. So we are going to have it as x squared minus x to be equal 0. And so this implies, let us factor what is common between this and this is x. Open bracket, x squared divided by x, we are going to left with x. X divided by x, we have here to be minus 1. We close it, we set everything to be equal 0. Likewise, what we're saying is that for this particular expression to be equal 0, implies that is either we have x to be equal 0, or we have x minus 1 to be equal 0. And so therefore, we are going to have x to be equals 1. And here to be x equals 0. Meaning that you have 4 solutions, where we have x to equals 2, x equals minus 1, x equals 0, s equals 1. Then let us check for the solution we got. So these are the possible value of x. So to check, we have x squared minus x minus 1, all in parentheses, then to the power of x squared minus x equals 1. Then let us test for when s equals 2. So here will be 2 to the power of 2 minus 2 minus 1 to the power of 2 to the power of 2 minus 1. Then is it going to give us 1? Here will be 4. Minus 1 minus 2 will be minus 3. All in parentheses. This one will be also 4 minus 1. Is it going to give us 1? So from here, 4 minus 3 will give us 1 to the power of 4 minus 1 will give us 3. This will equals 1. So 1 equals 1. So this is true for x equals 2. Likewise, let us check for x equals minus 1. So from here, we are going to have minus 1, all in parentheses to the power of 2, minus into minus 1 as this. So here will also be minus 1, all in parentheses to the power of 2, minus 1. Then is it going to give us 1? So from here, we are going to have this to be 1. Here will be plus 1 minus 1 as this. Here will also be 1. Here will also be plus 1. Then is it going to give us 1? Minus times minus will give us plus. So here, this and this will cancel. We have 1. Then to the power of 1 plus 1 will give us 2, which is equivalent to 1. So from here to 1 equals 1. So this is also true for the value of x equals minus 1. Let us also test for x equals 0. So we are going to have this as, so we are going to have here to be 0 squared minus 0 minus 1, all in parentheses. Here will be 0 squared minus 0. Then is it going to give us 1? 0 squared 0 minus 0 squared will give us minus 1. All to the power of, here will be 0, which is equivalent to 1. Because any number raised to power 0 will give us 1. So here will be 1 equals 1. So this is also true for the value of x equals 0. So let us also test for x equals 1. This one will also be 1 squared minus 1 minus 1. Then to the power of 1 squared minus 1. Then is it going to give us 1? 1 squared will be 1. Minus 1 will be minus 2. All to the power of 0 will be equals 1. It is believed that this will be definitely equals 1 equals 1. So this is also true for the value of x equals 1. So if you are new here and you find this video interesting, don't forget to share, like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more maths tutorial videos. Bye bye.